Test 1 2 3 1 2 3. Good evening, YouTube, internet. My name's Dave. It's Mountain Branch Music. I want to tell you a little bit about what's going on this week. Just kicking up the channel and mixing things up. I'm doing some solo gigs, and this is my solo project. So everything's kind of spinning up right now. I've had a lot of ideas that get to work on and exercise. Having some pretty good success at the first few gigs. Just doing solo acoustic with some electric guitar, obviously, and I run through an acoustic amp so I can run the vocals through, and then I do the loops and stuff to play along, and then I layer them and mess around with them and create lots of cool effects. So it might be pretty obvious if you're into it, if you're in the know. I'm really deeply influenced by the whole jam world scene. Guys like Trey Anastasio from Fish and Jerry Garcia, and way back. Really, it's a lot of indie alternative music going way back. That's what I grew up hearing. It really caught my ear. Listening to in the 80s, before there was alternative and jam band stuff that I was aware of. I wasn't really hip with the whole dead scene. I was listening to like Morrissey and stuff like that, a lot of like Britpop, and that stuff stays with me. Anyway, so that's the basic music background. When I started this, I have this Pine Telecaster I've been working on for a long time. Got it on eBay as a parts caster. This piece of wood came from a barn in Indiana, I think, and a guy put, I think it was a Mighty Mite neck on it, which I still have, and it might come back, honestly, someday. And I've just put like rail pickups in it and individual saddles, and I had to fiddle with the electronics a bit and moving the bridge around just to get it just exactly perfect with some other intricacies of this guitar. So this, I kind of fell in love with this through the sound of just an acoustic amp, which really had like a kind of a Garcia kind of sound. It had that certain kind of sizzle, that solid state thing, which I'd hoped to find in other solid state amps. Like I used to have an old Princeton Chorus solid state amp, and I was like, oh man, if you just threw some JBLs in there, like some JBL 10s, like maybe that could get you kind of a Garcia thing. And I think that might still work, but I kind of stumbled on it with this Marshall AS50 thing, and it's a sound I like. But I'm not sure I'm staying with it. I've been trying another thing, so that might be another video, but let me show you what I'm getting with this, and we'll go from there. This guitar has a lot of character. I like guitars with a lot of character, and if people like this video, if it does well over time, you might see more. If I have some time and inclination to talk about it, we'll get more into that. But here it goes. Here's just a little bit of what it is. Try to get you some good sounds. Try to be some Grateful Dead riffs in there to try to exercise what I'm talking about. But it's a great overall sound. It sounds acoustic-ish, on gigs, which is cool. And so like I can comp chords through the looper and put different effects on it, and like put an amp simulator on it, and it kind of works. And all the gear, if you play good and you sing good, people are gonna like it. That's how that goes. So I work on that, obviously, but it is what it is, brother. So here we go. Yeah, so that's kind of that thing. really into Krungbin. Is probably one of the bands that lit me up the most the last few years. Mark Spear, another Texas guitarist. I feel like in some ways, I was in Texas a couple of years ago. There is a Texas thing. I didn't grow up there. I grew up in the Northeast, in New England and New Hampshire, but there's a vibe. Really grew to love that music and watch their rise over the last few years. So put on a little more reverb. I don't consider it a Krungbin thing, but that's the rails in this guitar gets me thinking about that. So. I got my Fathom reverb, pretty epic. Not really Mark's sound. I can throw on the wah for you too. Ooh, a little buzz on there too. Wasn't expecting that, but so that's one thing about my current recording rehearsal setup is I think the neighbors have like grow lights or something going on. So, ooh, hello. Camera thing. Yeah, I think the neighbors have like grow lights or something that gives us really intense grounding, IR radiation, some kind of weird thing that the pickups don't like. So even though these are humbuckers, I really only have 2 guitars that can be dead quiet in this space. And maybe I'll test that tonight with the other one. But I'll stay tuned for that. But I'll get some more sounds out of this. We'll have fun. There it is. Yeah, so I'm gonna just do this from time to time, talk about what's going on for me, what I'm trying. There's a number of things, you know, doing a gig like this, putting myself out there as Mountain Branch Music. It's a lot of spinning plates. It's a lot of fun for me. I hope I see you out there on the performances or back here at the show, and I'll try to put some clips up and talk about the clips, what's going on with the sound. We'll see you a little further down the line.